Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in. Judy here. If you fight for freedom, democracy, and human rights, you've come to the right place. I upload weekly to this series, which talks about dictators and more. And my friends, before we dive into today's topic, please allow me to thank the friends who bought me coffee from my website last week. Thank you so much for your kind support, my friends. Thank you. My friends, if you're not new to this channel, you know I've been saying that the world is getting darker, that AI and robots will take more human jobs, meaning more and more people will be out of jobs. It's not your fault if you're out of work because of AI and robots, or because of the worsened economy. It's the system's fault. I think if people at the top could issue some laws to restrict AI and robots in order to protect ordinary people, then less people will lose their jobs. However, some governments don't care about ordinary people, like the Trump administration. And if you don't know, in my view, there's no left or right. There are only billionaires and ordinary people. So, in my opinion, if you're not a billionaire, you're an everyday person. Of course, I'm also an average person, which is why I don't want to see ordinary people suffer or be tricked by some evil people at the top. Hence, you've heard me telling the truth that immigrants haven't stolen your jobs. AI and robots have and will continue to do so. And it's not your fault if you're out of jobs. It's the system's fault. Of course, you might not believe me if you're a Trumper because you've been brainwashed by Trump and Trumpers at the top. They've been telling you that immigrants have been taking your jobs, not AI and robots. But according to the data released on December 10th by DHS, they've successfully deported more than 2.5 million immigrants. If this is true, according to Trump's theory, more Americans, at least more than 2 million Americans, should be hired, not fired, right? But how come, according to Labor Department, the unemployment rate rose to a 4-year high of 4.6% in November, up from 4.4% in September, and why the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell said that America is experiencing a weakening labor market. So immigrants are not the real ones who have taken your jobs. AI and robots are the main reason that you're out of work. They just don't want you to know the truth. Why? Well, I've talked about the reasons in my previous videos. If you haven't watched them, please check them out in the description or comments. And now, due to the economy has worsened, even more people will lose their jobs. And if you're one of them, it's not your fault. It's Trump's fault. His tariffs makes almost everything more expensive, and which worsen the economy. Yeah, I know Trump has been telling you that the economy is great, and according to his own words, a plus plus plus. And if you're a Trumper, you might buy his lie instead of believing your own experience, because you're deeply in his MAGA code. And from the history that I know of, weak people always fully believe their beloved dictators or leaders. They feel happy when their leader tells them so, even though they are not. So Trumpers might not think that the economy has been worsened under Trump. However, fact is fact. According to Jerome Powell, inflation remains elevated, and he described the U.S. economy as very unusual, saying policymakers are navigating a right combination of tariff-driven goods inflation and a labor market that may already be weaker than official data suggests. See, because of Trump's tariffs, the inflation rate is getting higher, and the economy is getting worse. And because of AI and robots and the worsened economy, the labor market is getting weaker. So it's not your fault if you're out of job, if you have to live paycheck to paycheck. It's the system's fault. It's Trump's fault. And you're not alone. According to PNC Bank Financial, 67% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck in 2025, up from 63% in 2024. So right now, everything is getting more expensive. Consumers pay nearly 25% more for groceries in 2025 than they did in 2020. And more people will live paycheck to paycheck. If you're one of them, remember, it's not your fault. If you're replaced by AI or robots, it's also not your fault. Remember, my friends, it's not your fault. It's the system's fault. It's Trump's fault. Don't blame yourself. Okay, my friends, in case you don't know me yet, I'm Judy Faye London, a fan of Jack London. I'm a public writer who writes fiction and non-fiction novels and short stories. You're very welcome to visit my website, judyfaylondon.com, or Amazon to read my poems and my short stories. The last one, Mr. Rat, Candy the Dog, and so on, and my latest non-fiction book, Living with the Walking Dead, a roadmap for achieving your own success. I hope to see you there, and thank you so much for your kind support, and thank you very much for subscribing to my YouTube channels, Judy Faye London and Judy Plus. Judy Faye London is a channel that mainly talks about culture, economics, and dictators and various events and people in human history, while Judy Plus is a channel that talks about interesting discoveries in the world of science.